What is happening, everybody? So, with the release of the specifications for the 2018 Mustang GT, specifically the 10-speed automatic and the bump in power, what's really kind of got me to thinking a little bit is what is Chevrolet going to do to answer the 2018 Mustang? The rumor is that it is going to get the 10-speed automatic. I mean, it was a joint venture between Chevrolet and Ford, and the ZL1 has the 10-speed. Of course, the Raptor does too. It's only natural that with the Mustang carrying the 10-speed, the Camaro should get it as well, and probably with a bump in power to go along with it. Now, that's got me a little bit nervous as a Mopar fan, because so far as I can tell, there's no plans to revise or revamp any of the 392 cars. Now, that's a bit of an issue for me. You know, in this environment, the current American muscle car or pony car wars, you can't just rely on what's got you here to keep you there. It's one of those situations where this creature, so to speak, is evolving about every 2 to 3 years as opposed to every 6 or 7 years. And although Dodge has done a fantastic job with the Challenger from its release back in 2008, it's not done, in my opinion, enough, or at least it hasn't shown that it will do enough to keep the Challenger on top of its mark where it should be, and that's at the drag strip. Especially when you consider all of the focus that's been given to the Demon lately. I mean, look at it like this. No other car has been released with that level of pomp and circumstance in, I don't know, my memory, or at least anybody's recent memory. So I guess where I'm going with this is, you know, Dodge, here's what I would like to see come from you. What I would like to see is a drag pack, but naturally aspirated, not necessarily with the fender flares. We don't need a Bushwhacker edition 392 car. What we need is a car that is more or less falling in lockstep with that Demon, but in a naturally aspirated package and for the street. See, the problem is that as awesome as the Demon is, it puts it way outside of the normal guy's means to be able to afford one. I'm talking about the price here. But what is selling well is the Challenger in general. I think June showed one of the highest year-over-year sales quotas that they've ever had for the Challenger, which is a great thing. But you can't just rest on normal good sales to keep the brand moving forward. Again, what I would like to see is naturally aspirated 392 Scat Pack with a rear seat delete, maybe some of the other gizmos and gadgets, line lock, whatever else you can throw on it from the Demon to make it, or at least to keep it, a dominant force on the drag strip. Because you've got to figure that now, with the Mustang having the 10-speed automatic, a bump in power, it's going to be an 11-second car, at least if they're going to keep advertising sub 4-second 0 to 60 times. The Camaro has already proven itself to be an 11-second car, bone stock on a drag radial. And yes, the Challenger walks in lockstep with that same trend. Any Scat Pack with a drag radial in even halfway decent conditions will be at least a 12.0 or an 1190 car. The problem is that there's just no other modifications, or at least the aftermarket isn't as kind. They just don't embrace the Mopar brand the way that they have for Chevrolet and Ford, or at least the way that they've trended to follow those two brands. Dodge, you need to do something. Bring back direct connection, bring back Mopar performance parts, or whatever you want to call yourself, but you need to step your game up a little bit when it comes to the 392 cars. One thing that I've noticed, and this is a bit of a sidebar, talking about that uptick in sales, I have seen more and more Challengers at the drag strip lately. And keep in mind, I'm at the drag strip at least twice a month with my car. And as I've seen more and more of the Challengers. I've been seeing less and less of the Camaros and the Mustangs. And it's awesome to see them out there. But with the release of that 2018 Mustang and with the rumored upgrades that that Camaro is going to have, we're going to have a little bit better effort for the naturally aspirated guys coming from Mopar. And again, getting back to that aftermarket and direct connection Mopar performance parts, that we need to have access, and it needs to happen fairly quickly for the parts that will work from the Demon onto the existing cars. Take away any future possible, I don't know, drag pack or whatever you want to call it for that naturally aspirated, drag race, more drag race focused Challenger. We need to see some kind of an effort moving forward quickly with that, mainly because we want to stay involved in our cars, keeping in mind that, again, the aftermarket really isn't following the Challenger very tightly, at least not in comparison with the Camaro and the Mustang. And if we're talking about modifications and things like that to that car, back in the day when drag racing really was a big deal, it was a pretty common thing for many original equipment manufacturers to have a performance parts division, and they serviced all of the engines that they carried. So, with the 392 not getting much love from Dodge, it kind of makes me wonder, is it really true that the rumors that the 392 will be an official dead engine by 2020? But let's put it out with a bang, if nothing else. Give us the aftermarket parts that we're looking for the existing cars, the ones that are actually, kicking ass on drag strips and helping to sell the cars and helping to generate excitement for the brand. And for those that are looking to maybe trade up or trade across for the future, give us a car that is lighter in weight, that has the parts from the Demon that will work on a naturally aspirated platform, so that we can get out there and keep furthering the Dodge brand the way that we've been doing up to this point. Post up your comments, y'all. Let me know what you think. Would you guys be even in on a more drag race specific Challenger, or would you be a little bit hesitant to, fork over money on a stripped down car like that? It isn't like it's, a halo car. It's not, a statement car. But when you're really looking at it from, let's say, this point of view, where the statement that's being made is that the naturally aspirated guys are at the drag strip with their cars. They're excited about it. They're posting videos. They're proud of the fact that they're getting their Challengers and their Chargers, for that matter, deep into the 11-second range with nothing more than a tune, maybe a tire, and decent conditions. That's something to brag about. And even taking the car completely bone stock and putting a drag radial on the back of it in good conditions will yield an 11-second time slip. So in a way, if you look at it from that point, I think the naturally aspirated guys are flying that flag a little bit higher than you might think. But again, post up your comments, let me know what you think. That's a wrap on this one. Adios.